think it goes without saying that the legal sector is fairly traditional. And when I started practicing, lawyers weren't allowed to advertise. The most you could have was a business card. So conferences, writing articles was all forbidden. So when the big change came about, I embraced that with passion and started out marketing and business developing. I came to a very early conclusion that marketing really didn't deliver. So I've been all about sales. So I set up the first sales force, I think, in any law firm. The thing we realised was that marketing can give you profile and brochures and seminars and all the rest of it, but ultimately people buy people. So we got together all the people in the firm that I thought were the enthusiasts, and we said, how would we go out and win business from US clients? And we were going through all the role play about what we might say to these clients when we met them. And the lady who ran the conference centre said, what are you doing? And I said, well, we're rehearsing what we would say to these clients if and when we met them. And she said, that's sales. And I said, no, lawyers don't do sales. It's forbidden and it's all very nasty and horrible. And she said, no, trust me, you're doing sales. And her brother was there, who was the sales director of a big Dutch company. And he sat in on the role play and was pretty appalled by what he saw. Apart from one partner from our Birmingham office who did the role play, asked loads of questions, asked loads more questions, and then closed the deal. And everyone said, where did that come from? And then he confessed he'd been a salesman in a former life. So I've always been passionate about getting in front of clients, listening to what they have to say, asking them lots of questions. We formalise that. We've used a couple of outside training companies to train pretty much all our lawyers in selling techniques. But in other firms, it's seen as something unpleasant and nasty with a bad spell about it. But it's what gets results. And all those years on, as a result of that strategy, we have over 500 US companies, from Amazon to Starbucks to Tyco, DuPont, and many other household names. So if I was starting out again, I'd probably do the same thing, which is spend my time going around, spending time with clients, finding out what their needs are, and building your network. I think some of the most effective legal business developers are the ones that are the experts who just go around their client base and potential client base every couple of months, telling them what's going on in the market. And for clients, that gives them huge reassurance that their lawyer knows what's going on. Obviously, with the digital age and other forms of marketing and communication, that's changed. But I think ultimately you have to develop those relationships with senior buyers of legal services. You have to do all the other stuff, the technology stuff, which we'll come on to. But essentially, you need to build up the trust and, dare I say, the friendship of the clients that you want to represent. I sat in on a client presentation recently in America where they'd asked all the firms they'd ever worked with to present on how would they deal with their legal work across the world and how would they utilise technology. And the general counsel summed it up with two cartoon characters, Fred Flintstone and the Jetsons. And he said that sadly most of the firms they currently work with were in the Fred Flintstone camp, very few in the Jetsons camp, meaning that a lot of lawyers like things the way they are, aren't prepared to change, aren't prepared to invest. Whereas all the clients want to know what we're doing with technology. They're under pressure to use AI and robotics and other more effective ways of dealing with other businesses. And lawyers are not immune to that. There are the sort of doomsday soothsayers in the legal world, like Richard Susskind, who has a book called The End of Lawyers, and he predicts that all lawyers will be out of business in a few years' time to be replaced by robots and technology. I'm not in that camp. Many firms, including ours, are already using AI to deliver legal services our clients expect it. There are tools you can buy like Kira and Luminance, which make the job easier. So, as a lawyer growing up, I probably spent far too much time at my desk with piles and piles of files, reading lots of documents, and now that can be done through AI. You give them a few documents and they soon pick up the thread. You can use AI to isolate key clauses in a document. You can get AI to get rid of duplicates. You can get them to spot themes. And that takes away hundreds of hours of drudgery from what a lot of lawyers do. So some people say that is the end of lawyers, because if they're not looking through documents, what else do they do? The answer is they do it the same, but it's assisted by technology. So I see that it augments what we do. It doesn't replace what we do. But it means that we're far more efficient. We can do things much cheaper. And if you get it right, then it's possible to make more money by using AI than the traditional methods of manual review, which take thousands of hours. So I think AI is already very much part of the landscape for the forward-looking Jetson firms, but for the Flintstones, they just don't see the need to invest in it. And you do need to invest in it, and their lawyers don't trust it, because you can't replace rocket scientist humans. I think with all businesses, especially our younger lawyers, just regard it as natural to be communicating with their clients on Facebook and looking at each other's LinkedIn and all that sort of social networking stuff just becomes second nature. I think it works well where you've got groups of specialists. So say, for example, we've got education law specialists. They'll be in groups with vice chancellors and heads of HR and colleges and education authorities, and they can be part of a community, and that leads to work for us because they're all in communication with each other. So I think the social networking works well for us in terms of a legal opportunity to get in front of clients. But there's a whole range of things we're doing. So the one I particularly like is our employment law app, because we're an international firm, so we want to convince clients that we can look after their needs all over the world. So you go into the Eversheds Sutherland employment app and you can type in what is the law of sex discrimination, type in the number of countries, and it will immediately give you the answer in 14 different countries. For us, content is free. That's just our way that we get to market and demonstrate our knowledge, and in that way, clients will come to use our services. So another thing we do is online training. So our clients, especially in the world of compliance, have to demonstrate that all their people have been trained in anti-bribery, ethics, compliance matters. So we have online training that we sell to clients. That's also been very effective. So we are dealing with our clients at many levels. And as I say, clients expect you to have all this technology infrastructure, but I would repeat again that there's no substitute for having the personal relationships with people at a senior level. And I got an innovation award from the FT a little while ago. I went to the Innovators Breakfast, and it was 3 law firms and 20 startups in the legal space. And they said, which will be the law firm of the future or the legal provider of the future? And they kindly said it would be Eversheds Sutherland. And I said, well, that's very flattering, but you're in this new space with VC money behind you. Why do you think that we will succeed and you will struggle? To which the answer was, big firms like yours have the relationships with the senior buyers of legal services. You've got a brand, and it's very difficult for us as startups to get that access to the C-suite. So I think provided we learn from the new providers, we incorporate them into what we do, then we will thrive and survive. If we ignore it, then we'll have problems. The big accountancy firms, the big 4, are very much moving into the legal space, and they're doing it through technology. So they say we'll do it cheaper, more efficiently with technology than the traditional legal way. So we have to be able to offer both the high-level contact and the day-to-day infrastructure of technology. Yeah, I think I'd always say that sales can be taught. You don't have to be some special kind of individual, and a lot of sales training is technique. I think for lawyers, they're trained to be risk-averse, they're trained to give answers, they're trained to give solutions. So their natural instinct if a client comes up with a problem is to immediately tell them what the answer is as the expert. Whereas sales training teaches you that you get the clients talking, you uncover what their needs are, you try and understand their business, you then ask further questions, and then ultimately you might get to something where you can actually help them with a service. And many lawyers find that hard because it's the listening piece. Because a good sales meeting, I regard a good sales meeting as one where I've said virtually nothing and the client has done all the talking, and then I've gone away with a real understanding for what they do. And I think lawyers also over-engineer these meetings with clients, getting marketing people to do huge amounts of background research on the client. I have to admit, I don't do that. You can usually pick up from reception, the annual brochure, or have a quick look online before you go in for the meeting. And then people say, well, how can you understand their business if you've not done hours and hours of research? And the answer is, I say to them, how's business? And they tell me what their business is. So you can over-engineer it to make it too complicated, but ultimately it's people getting along with people, it's people trusting people. And lawyers will always tell you that the nirvana is to be the client's trusted advisor. I don't subscribe to that. I think that your aim should be to be the client's friend, to be recognised as their friend, someone who can help them, whatever they're faced with.